Do we own time? Or does time own us? Prologue. The question that changes everything: do we own time? Or does time own us? That question never crossed John Everett's mind until the day it tore his world apart. At 27, John lived a quiet, structured life in Boston. A software engineer at a rising tech startup, his days were spent writing code, sipping cold brew, and avoiding surprises. Home was a one-bedroom apartment filled with sci-fi collectibles and the comforting glow of PlayStation screens. Adventure? Not his thing. Risk? Absolutely not. But on one ordinary Tuesday, in a quiet cafe near Kendall Square, reality cracked. The man with the eyes that had seen too much John was half distracted by his phone when a voice, low cracked, cut through the cafe's jazz playlist. John. He looked up. It took him a second to recognize the man standing before him. Murad Hassan? His old college roommate. Once a genius in quantum physics. Now, he looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Gaunt. Pale. Eyes that darted like they were scanning multiple timelines at once. "We can't talk here," Murad whispered. "I need your help. It's urgent. It's wrong." John raised an eyebrow. "You still pulling pranks like back in MIT?" Murad didn't smile. "I built a time machine. I used it. And I broke something. Something huge." An hour later, John found himself gripping the side of a 4x4 barreling through the Nevada desert, headlights cutting through endless dunes. No GPS. No cell phone signal. Finally, they stopped before a massive steel gate, half buried in the sand. Murad entered a code. The gate groaned open, revealing a ramp descending deep into the earth. Inside was a labyrinth of tunnels glowing with pulses of blue energy, pulses that seemed alive. They entered a chamber of cold metal and humming machinery. And there it was. The machine. A platform of polished steel, etched with symbols that shimmered and shifted, like they were alive. Tubes of light circled the disk, pulsing like a synthetic heartbeat. Murad spoke quietly. "I traveled to 1920, just a test. But I saved a child from being trampled by a horse. When I returned, the world had changed." Screens around the lab flickered, news feeds from a world John didn't recognize. A single ruler, endless wars, entire cities in ruins. "That boy," Murad whispered, trembling. "He became a dictator. My one act of kindness reshaped history." John's mouth went dry. "So we fix it," he said. Murad nodded. "But the cracks have already started." And outside, far above the lab, the sky had begun to fracture. It started as a shimmering line across the horizon, blue, jagged, humming. Then came the disappearances. People sucked into invisible vortexes mid-step. Moments caught in loops. Soldiers in Roman armor, walking the streets of San Francisco. A woman in Victorian dress, screaming at a digital billboard. Time was bleeding. And the lab. It was no longer safe. Doors opened to nowhere. Computers typed messages in dead languages. Shadows watched from corners that didn't exist seconds before. John couldn't sleep. Every night, he heard screams coming from beyond the walls. Screams that sometimes sounded like his own voice. Into the future they had one chance. To leap ahead, find the damage's endpoint, and trace it back. Murad programmed the machine for the year 3000. They emerged into a city suspended in the clouds. Glass towers stretched endlessly. Cars flew in perfect silence. AI served smiling humans. But something was wrong. In certain streets, time had frozen. People stood mid-step, mid-word like statues. Children chasing balls that never landed. Lovers mid-embrace, their tears suspended like jewels. And from the edges of those still zones, ghosts watched. Soldiers from the Reich. Pharaohs. Spacefarers. All screaming silently. That's where they met Elia, a temporal physicist from the future. "You fractured the root timeline," she said. "Only a full reset can stop the decay. But you won't like the cost." Before they could leave, they arrived. Beings of metal and light, with eyes like burning galaxies. The temporal wardens, created by time itself to protect the flow. They had no mercy, No negotiation. One chased John and Murad through the ruins of New Atlantis, an underwater city glittering with golden statues and bioluminescent walls. They fought beneath a glass dome, where sound echoed like chants. Murad trapped the warden in a temporal bubble, slowing it to near death, but he was wounded, badly. The final confrontation, they returned to the first jump, the moment Murad saved the child. But someone was waiting. Murad, but not Murad. A darker version, one who embraced power. In the Hall of Kronos, where every wall displayed flickers from history, he made his case. Time should serve us, not the other way around. Murad stepped forward, weak, bleeding. I tried that, and I lost everything. The two versions fought, wielding weapons from past and future, energy and steel, fire and light. Time warped around them, dinosaurs flickered into the room, then vanished, the smell of burnt Rome mixed with the screams of future wars. Finally Murad won. He activated the failsafe. A message across time: the machine imploded, sending waves through the cracks, sealing them. The ghosts faded, the skies calmed, but Murad was gone. In his place, a simple message blinked on the lab's screen. If you're reading this, don't try to play God. Time is not yours. I paid the price. John returned to his life. The world was normal, but every night, at exactly 3:33 a.m., his computer lit up. A message appeared, lines of code he didn't recognize. It always ended with the same phrase: "We are still here." The Yandi, or is it?